Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Today I will be reviewing the new Sam Levinson film starring Zendaya and John David Washington, Malcolm and Marie. Malcolm and Marie is about a couple played by John David Washington and Zendaya who review from a premiere of John David Washington's character's film, and he's anxiously waiting the reviews. But during this time, they begin to start an argument over how John David Washington's character didn't thank Zendaya's character during the premiere of the film. But then it leads on to more, and they start to argue and question their relationship, their trust in one another, and how much they truly love each other. Malcolm and Marie is gained hype mainly from the performances by Zendaya and John David Washington, but also for being one of the very few films that was filmed during lockdown during the coronavirus pandemic. It was a very limited crew. There's only 2 people in the whole film. It's filmed in all one location. Not just it being a one location film, it's ambitious, but having to film it in the conditions that they did was also a struggle. Now, my thoughts on Malcolm and Marie, I really liked it, but when I first watched it, I thought I loved it, but the more I think about it, I take issues with some of the things. But before I go into that, I want to talk about the good. Zendaya and John David Washington, fuck, are these good performances. Zendaya is fantastic as this very mentally disturbed woman who's struggling in life, doesn't really know who to trust, doesn't know who loves her. But I've got to be honest, I know Zendaya's getting most of the hype and getting all the award type. My favourite performance was actually from David Washington. I just loved his smug arrogance to him. It was like James Bond if it was a marriage counsellor's film instead of a James Bond film. Well, Zendaya, fantastic. I think deserves all the award hype. I think John David Washington should follow her in that. He's probably not. Zendaya's probably not going to get in for the Oscars, but if I had to choose a favourite, it would be him. Sam Levinson was a writer-director for this film. This is his 3rd feature film. I haven't seen Another Happy Day, but I did say Assassination Nation, and I really, really didn't like it. I just thought it was a stupid teen film that equally wasn't made for teens. I've heard Euphoria is fantastic, but I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But Malcolm and Marie, for it being only 1 or 2 things I've seen, is my favourite of his. I will talk about the directing next, but first I want to talk about the writing. Fantastic. It's fast paced. It really captures the essence of a couple who seem to both think they're so intelligent and seem to think that they're both so right, and how when their use of words when they're arguing, it's like the only time they can ever be clever with what they say, because it's the only time they think they'll get away with it. I think anyone who's been in any sort of relationship knows how it feels to be in any sort of disagreement argument, how even if you know that you're wrong, you want to keep arguing your point, you want to seem the more dominant. In this case, you don't want to admit that you're wrong, you don't want to admit to your loved one that you're wrong. And I think he really captures that essence of people that love each other but at the same time just want to tear each other's faces off. It really captures about how stir crazy loving somebody can make you. And I've got to say, the best piece of writing in this film, and my favourite scene in the film, is a scene where Zendaya is in the bathtub, John David Washington comes in and talks to her, and he just kind of tears into her about how much she drives him insane. He just tries to make her feel as horrendous about herself as she has to him, and it is just an amazing bit of writing. During that scene, you feel like it's like Marriage Story, the argument scene. You really feel like you should hate John David Washington's character for it, but you kind of see where he's coming from when he's saying what he's saying. The directing and cinematography is kind of where I take issue. It's weird. The cinematography is fantastic. It's black and white. The use of lighting along with the black and white, exquisite. It looks amazing. This film looks amazing. Any frame could be a picture on your wall from this film, especially the opening shot with the house and you see the car coming up. Fantastic. Loved it. But at the same time, I did think it was a little bit pretentious. It was like they were just trying too hard to show how talented they are and what type of film this was. Like they were like really trying to put it towards like, oh, this is an adult film, and look at us, we're black and white and we're doing this old school stuff with the lights, and it's like, you're not impressing anybody, mate. And in terms of the directing, also a bit pretentious. Like, for example, the opening scene, there's like a long bit in it where John David Washington's character is just going on this monologue about his new premiere and how happy he is with it and what everyone was saying to him. And like, basically, I don't think I'm spoiling too much because it's the opening shot. It's one of the opening scenes even. But the camera starts here, and as he walks around the house, around this table, the camera kind of goes like that, and then it'll follow him back, and then Zed outside to make a cigarette. I just thought that was a bit too much. I took issue with this because it takes you out of the film, and it's the director almost showing off, being like, look at me, I'm the director, look what I'm doing. And when you're the director, you should be great at your work without making it apparent that there's someone behind the camera. And it really took me out, and it kind of pissed me off for a bit, because I'm just kind of there like, mate, no. And then there are a couple scenes more like that. That was the only like one that I thought was like criminally bad. Labyrinth, who's the British musician, he was the composer for this film, and he also was the composer for Euphoria. And at first I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. He's like does like very much like strong nightclub DJ music, so I was like, it's go one way or another. But I've got to be honest, I actually really love the soundtrack of this film. There are a lot of moments of silence when Malcolm and Marie are just by themselves, and the music really kind of adds to those scenes and how they're feeling, as well as also kind of adds a calm to it. Like when those moments come about, you feel like you can breathe and you can just put your head down for a moment. That's all I've got to say about Malcolm and Marie. Before I go into its awards chances, I'm going to just rate it. So Malcolm and Marie, a very well written, for the most part well directed film from fantastic performances, which does fall into be pretentious at times. And I'm going to give Malcolm and Marie a 7.5 out of 10. I know why you're all here. I know this is mainly an awards channel. You want to know what its Oscar chances are. So the Golden Globes, Critics' Choice and SAGs have been. Now, they both missed out on SAG and Golden Globes. Zendaya did sneak into Critics' Choice. I do think she can get her an Oscar nomination. She's the only Oscar nomination that's going to be got for this film. The only way she's going to get that is if she can sneak into BAFTA. BAFTA do have 6 spots now, so it could happen. So if she can get Critics' Choice and BAFTA, that'll be enough for me to think that she's got a good shot at the Oscar. I'm not sure she'll predict her, but if she can get both Critics' Choice and BAFTAs, there'll be a shot. Like I've said before, just getting Critics' Choice nomination and nowhere else is very, very rare that you'll also then go on to get an Oscar nomination. If I could choose, despite the fact I think it falls in potential sometimes, it doesn't change the fact that it's fantastic cinematography, so I'd say that wouldn't be an offensive nomination. And I love John David Washington, and if he somehow got into leading actor, which just isn't going to happen now, but if he somehow did, that would make me very happy. Okay, ladies and gents, that's all I've got to say about Malcolm and Marie. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to say it now, my Twitter followers is really struggling, so if you want to give it a follow, the link's in the description. I'd really appreciate that. That's all I've got to say. Like, comment and subscribe. Until then, so long, ladies and gents.